You know, it's funny, isn't it? You see a YouTube comedian like B Eunuch, someone with millions of subscribers, brand deals,
Mm.
living the dream.
Yeah.
And it's easy to forget that there's a whole story there, a whole journey we don't see.
It's true.
Yeah.
We often only see the highlight reel, the finished product. But with B Eunuch, the backstory is just as, if not more, compelling.
Exactly. I mean, this is someone who's been incredibly open about his past, talking about growing up in poverty in India, sleeping in train stations, even being removed from class because his family couldn't afford the fees.
And that's what makes his success so remarkable, right?
Yeah.
He didn't come from privilege. He had to fight for every opportunity. It's a real testament to the power of resilience.
It is. And, one of the things that really struck me was how he used humor to navigate those tough times.
Oh, absolutely.
He talks about it pretty candidly in the interview, saying, if you don't look well back in the day, you have to do something more to blend in with the group. Humor was his way of connecting, of deflecting from what he might have lacked materially.
It's like that old saying, laughter is the best medicine. But in B Eunuch's case, it wasn't just about masking the pain. It was about transforming it. It was about finding a way to connect with others who might have been going through similar struggles.
And that's where I think his story transcends the whole YouTube comedian label. He tapped into something universal, something that resonates with people regardless of their background. It's that power of humor to help us cope, to bring people together, even in the face of adversity.
It's a fascinating aspect of the human experience, isn't it? This idea that humor can be both a defense mechanism and a bridge to connection. And B Eunuch seems to embody that duality perfectly.
It really does. And it's something we'll definitely want to unpack further as we dive deeper into his story.
It's that connection that really laid the foundation for his success.
Yeah.
But, it's important to remember,
Yeah.
it wasn't like he just started making videos and became an overnight sensation.
Oh, absolutely not. He put in the work. Years of it, actually.
Exactly. Before the brand deals and the millions of subscribers, there were a lot of late nights bartending, trying to make ends meet.
He actually talks about that period in the interview, earning, 350 rupees a night? Something like that.
Yeah, pittance. And missing the last train home because he was trying to squeeze in a few more hours. It's a side of the story we don't always see, the hustle behind the humor.
Right, the grind. And it makes his advice to his younger self so much more impactful. You know the part I'm talking about.
Don't listen to a lot of people and just start what you feel like very early.
Yes, that's the one. It's like he's learned to trust his gut, to drown out the noise, and just go for it.
And that's such a powerful message. It's not about throwing caution to the wind, but it is about trusting your instincts, taking that leap of faith, even if it means,
Missing the last train home.
exactly,
Yeah.
even if it means missing that last train home. You might have to make some sacrifices along the way, but the payoff could be huge.
It's funny, though, even with that drive, that ambition, he still comes across as incredibly grounded.
You're right, there's a humility there.
Like that story about him buying his grandmother gold earrings with his early earnings.
Yeah, what a beautiful detail. It speaks volumes, doesn't it? It's like, even with success, he remembers where he came from, the people who supported him.
Exactly. And that actually brings us to something I found really interesting about his approach to content creation.
Okay.
He's very intentional about it. He has this question he always asks himself, if this came on your feed, would you laugh and would you share it?
Interesting. So he's really putting himself in the audience's shoes.
Yeah, and I think that's huge because it means he's not just chasing views or likes. He genuinely wants to create something that he connects with, that he's proud of. And I think that comes through in his work.
It's the power of intrinsic motivation, right? Of finding joy in the process itself, not just the outcome.
Yes, exactly. It's like he's still that kid who found solace in making people laugh. It's just on a much larger scale now.
And that's a powerful thing because it suggests a level of sustainability.
Yeah.
The world of online content creation can be incredibly fickle. Trends change, algorithms shift. What sustains you in the long run? That inner spark, that passion.
It's true. And it makes you wonder, how sustainable is that? Can you keep that kind of passion alive when you're,
When you're facing the pressures of fame and fortune.
exactly. When your life has changed so drastically from those early days of, struggling to make rent.
It's a valid question. And I think, at least in B Eunuch's case, part of the answer lies in how he grounds himself.
Oh, you mean like that daily ritual he talked about, visiting the Ram Mandir?
Yeah, exactly. It might seem like a small detail, but I think it speaks volumes about his values. It's not so much about the religious aspect, but more about the routine.
The discipline of it.
Exactly. Taking that time for reflection, for connecting to something larger than himself, I think it provides a sense of perspective.
It's like a touchstone, something that brings him back to center.
Precisely. And that's so important, especially in a field that can be so chaotic and unpredictable.
It makes me think about something else he mentioned in the interview, his desire to still be making videos at 50.
Oh, yeah. That's quite a statement.
It is. I mean, think about it. The world of YouTube, it's all about what's new, what's next. 5 years in this industry is like a lifetime.
Absolutely. Trends come and go, audiences evolve. So to have that kind of long-term vision, it's pretty remarkable.
It really is. And it makes you wonder, how will his comedy need to adapt to stay relevant? How will he navigate those shifts in the industry and, in himself?
It's the age-old question, isn't it? How do we stay true to ourselves while also embracing growth and change?
Right. And for someone like B Eunuch, whose entire brand is built on authenticity, that's a tightrope walk.
It is. But one thing that gives me hope is how he talks about his past. Those experiences of being judged, being treated poorly.
Yeah, he could easily still be carrying that pain, that resentment.
Exactly. But instead, he talks about breaking the cycle, treating everyone he encounters with kindness and respect.
It's like he's chosen to define success on his own terms. It's not just about the views, the subscribers, the money.
It's about staying true to his values, about using his platform to spread a positive message.
Which ultimately, I think, is what makes his story so inspiring. It reminds us that success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become along the way.
Beautifully said. And I think that's a perfect note to end on.
It really is. So for anyone listening, if you haven't already, I highly recommend checking out B Eunuch's channel. See if his story resonates with you. And until next time, keep exploring.